it is good to be with you once again on another Wednesday night where we bring you the news with the extra touch. Tonight, the Federal Executive Council leads with a sizable investment in roads and other critical infrastructure. Second mission journey begins for Professor Yakubu as INEC chairman. We have that. A lot is happening at the National Assembly. INEC is on the radar there. Mining fraud to be investigated, health insurance scheme for upgrade, and much more. The youth are the future, so we have them on tonight from different spheres of life. You know, we always have something on agriculture, and tonight it's fish and smallholder farmers. Find out what it is all about. Well, as usual, it is an interesting package, but that is not for me to say. Find out for yourself, as the taste of the pudding is in the eating. I am Fatima Umar Buba, and this is NewsExtra. You're welcome. Well, the federal government is to inject over 60 billion naira in the construction, rehabilitation and expansion of roads and other critical infrastructure across the country for enhanced socio-economic development. The Federal Executive Council gave the approval at its weekly meeting held virtually for the 27th time in the new normal. And State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the council also ratified the second Nigerian roads safety strategy.
President Muhammadu Buhari presided over the meeting attended by 11 ministers, while other members of the council participated online from their offices across the nation's capital. Addressing the nation's infrastructure deficit once again took the front burner as the council approved 12.15 billion naira for the construction of Yakasai Badume Damagu Makinzali Road in Kano State.
And the rehabilitation of the Kaduna Pambegua Jos Road linking Kaduna and Plateau states for 38.701 billion naira.
431.6 million naira has also been approved for the FCT administration as augmentation of the ongoing contract for the reconstruction of Yagba Pache Road linking Kwali and Abaji area councils.
It's a very important agricultural area, and this particular project, we hope when completed, is going to enhance the economic development of that area, enhance food security in the FCT, and bring about security and peace.
The FCT administration also secured an approval of 7.3 billion naira augmentation for the completion of what the minister called critical road infrastructure connecting Abuja Industrial Park with a network of roads within the territory.
As you know, industrialization is one of the key objectives of this administration, and by extension, all the multiplier effects that normally societies will get when they industrialize.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Muhammad also announced the approval of a contract for the expansion of the apron for the Maiduguri Airport at 719.1 million naira.
The expansion of the Maiduguri Airport has become necessary because of the increased traffic at the airport. The second contract is a contract was awarded to Zenith General Insurance Company and 19 other insurance companies to ensure assets such as terminal buildings in 22 airports belonging to the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria. The contract is in the sum of 390,055,687 naira 45 kobo.
Meanwhile, in furtherance of efforts at reducing road accidents and fatalities, the council ratified the second Nigerian road safety strategy.
The pillars upon which this strategy is based are road safety management, safer roads and mobility, safer road users, which is very, very paramount and more important than even the road conditions, safer vehicles, and then the post-crash care.
Targeted at reducing road traffic crashes by 50% by the year 2030, the Nigerian Road Safety Strategy 2 also provides for, amongst others, the global framework of plan of action as well as the establishment of the State's Road Safety Advisory Council, in addition to the one at the federal level. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, and his counterparts from 5 other states have formally presented their reports to the Federal Executive Council on their engagements with stakeholders in the aftermath of the NSAS protest in parts of the country. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo again has the details.
The ministers were in their respective states of Kwara, Yobe, Zamfara, Plateau, Abia, and Imo on the orders of President Muhammadu Buhari to brief those that matter on the response of the federal government to the recent NSAS protests and efforts being made towards making life better for all Nigerians. At the council meeting, the ministers answered questions on their observations, findings, and recommendations presented for consideration. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed told newsmen shortly after that their engagements were not only appropriate and timely, but indeed thought-provoking.
Even before the NSAS protest, this administration in particular had put in motion machinery to address unemployment, especially of youth, women, and the vulnerable people. And I cite the example of the 75 billion youth fund. And in particular, the Survivor Fund, which is actually aimed at giving a cushion to small and medium enterprises that have been affected by the COVID-19. As of today, over 500,000 unemployed graduates have benefited from the Empower project. And then between the market money, trader money, and farmer money, over 2 million Nigerians have benefited from the grant. So these are kind of things that we went home to tell our people, and it quite resonated very well. Overall, it's been a very good platform for exchange of views between the governed and the government.
I conveyed the message of hope and peace by His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, and we also informed them of the numerous government intervention programs across the country and in Zamfara State in particular. They appreciated my coming, and they reiterated their support and loyalty to the government and to President Muhammadu Buhari. You may know that Zamfara State did not participate in the NSAS protest, and they also made some recommendations on which they urged me to bring back to His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari for his consideration.
In Abia State, a documentary was done showing issues concerning war. There is no need for anybody to encourage war anymore. War does not bring prosperity, but peace brings prosperity to the entire world. And that is why we stand for one indivisible nation, Nigeria, for everyone. And that's what Mr. President stands for. And this government has done a lot for this nation within this period, and which we shared with the people, and they are happy with the performance of the federal government.
During the council meeting, 36th in the series for the year 2020, a moment of silence was observed in honor of the late General Domkat Bali, who served twice as Minister of Defense between 1984 to 1985 and 1985 to 1990. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In the meantime, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, has been sworn in to take charge of Nigeria's electoral umpire for another 5-year term. The swearing-in ceremony performed by President Muhammadu Buhari preceded the weekly meeting of the Federal Executive Council. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu has that.
I, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu,
An academic born in 1962, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu from Bauchi State will go down in history as the only Nigerian to serve for 2 terms as chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission. First appointed to the office in October 2015 by President Muhammadu Buhari, Professor Yakubu superintended the conduct of Nigeria's 2019 general elections, adjudged to be one of the most transparent and credible in the country. With his reappointment, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu is mandated to be in charge of affairs of the nation's electoral body when Nigerians return to the polls in 2023.
That I will preserve, protect, and defend the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
There was no presidential address at the brief swearing-in ceremony, but the returning INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, promised to discharge his responsibilities consistent with the oath of office taken, as well as his allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
We have clearly demonstrated in recent elections that elections are getting better and better, and the elections will continue to get better and better. By coincidence today, the National Assembly is holding a public hearing on the amendment of the electoral legal framework. This is important, and this time around, working with the National Assembly will ensure the speedy passage of the amendment bill, and once it is assented to, it will help us enormously in confronting the challenges ahead. The preparations for the 2023 general elections have proceeded in earnest. We need certainty, and therefore the electoral legal framework is fundamental, without which we cannot formulate our regulations and guidelines. Without our regulations and guidelines, we cannot conclude work on the manual for the training of ad hoc staff for the elections.
With its vision to be one of the best election management bodies in the world, INEC, as the chairman often says, will remain committed to the conduct of free, fair, and credible elections for sustainable democracy in Nigeria. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And as the INEC chairman gathers himself for the second half of the game, I'm sure he is interested in President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan's assurance that the new Electoral Act 2020 will be put to test in the first quarter of the year 2021. Lawan gave this assurance at a National Assembly public hearing on INEC and electoral matters. John Yaku was there.
A public hearing where INEC, political parties, civil society organizations, interest groups, and other stakeholders. Issues that dominated discussion border on timely funding of INEC, electronic voting and transmission of results, more women and people with disabilities inclusiveness, early voting, establishment of electoral offences tribunal, diaspora voting, and limitation of election expenses, among others.
Increase of timeline for nominations and a host of other provisions. For a legal framework for elections that further strengthens the independence of INEC.
The environment and materials used for elections shall as much practicable be accessible to persons with disabilities.
Security men that are supposed to protect the citizens are used against the citizen.
Chairmen of the joint committees are optimistic that the bill for an act to repeal the Electoral Act No. 6, 2010 as amended and enact the Independent National Electoral Commission Act 2020 will improve the legal framework for credible elections in Nigeria.
The proposed enactment will focus on areas of public and institutional agitations.
All relevant areas of the Electoral Act requiring amendment have been taken care of.
The leadership of the National Assembly aligns with this position as voiced out by the President of the Senate.
For us to have an amendment to the Electoral Act 2010 that will give us the best possible 2023.
We need also to review and improve the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That process has begun.
This, the leadership of the National Assembly says, will be counted in the history of the 9th Assembly. In Abuja, John Yaku, NTA News.
The Nigerian Minerals and Mining Law provides that ownership and control of all minerals in Nigeria is vested in the federal government. Ironically, this exclusive right was suffered years of abuse. Mining of solid minerals has been a scramble of a sort, with illegal miners smiling to the bank to the detriment of the Commonwealth. Now, the Senate is saying enough is enough, as it is resolved to investigate alleged loss of $9 billion to illegal mining of gold. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports.
Legislative intervention in checking losses of revenue accruable to the federal government has continued to engage members of the Senate. Illegal mining, especially of gold, was the focus at Thursday's plenary. Chief Whip of the Senate, Oji Uzo Kalu, drew attention of the legislators to a United States report that Nigeria has lost over $50 billion in gold revenue tax in 2 years due to illegal mining.
We must intensify further efforts to combat illegal mining and set up all revenue leakages from such clandestine activities and raise to the occasion of this one. I ask Mr. President to direct the federal government to close the leakages.
In Gashaka local government of Taraba State, we have instances where by aircrafts, come during the night. We don't know what they pick. So I think, this is also, a security issue.
If you travel from Kogi to Abuja late night, you will see trailers. The people you see inside these trailers are foreigners. These are people who are engaged in illegal mining.
Urge the Senate Committee on Solid Minerals, Mines and Steel Development and Metallurgy to investigate this matter and report back to the Senate in 6 weeks.
A bill that seeks to abolish the dichotomy between first degree and diploma, sponsored by Senator Ayo Akinyelure, the School of Mines and Geological Studies Establishment Bill Goyok, sponsored by Senator Dauda Yero, and the Institute of Information and Communications Technology, UGA, Anambra State, sponsored by Senator Ifeanyi Uba, passed second reading.
The graduates of this school will add value because they will be supporting not only the major investors in mining sector, but they will also go to nooks and crannies of this country and provide services.
Senate has confirmed the nomination of 7 persons as members of the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, with former member of the House of Representatives, Suleiman Kangiwa, as chairman. Senate has passed the 2020 FCT Appropriation Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill of 199.2 billion naira as grand total for recurrent and capital expenditure. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Achieving insurance health coverage for all Nigerians is necessary for the well-being of citizens, as a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. It is for this reason that the House of Representatives passed for second reading a bill seeking to improve the activities of the National Health Insurance Scheme, which was created in 2005 and currently has more than 4 million enrollees. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The National Health Insurance Scheme Repeal and Reenactment Bill was forwarded to the House from the Senate for concurrence. The legislation seeks upgrading of the scheme to an authority, thereby expanding its scope of operation and coverage of the more than 200 million people in Nigeria. Also from the Senate and passed for second reading is the bill for the establishment of National Transport Commission, a bill seeking alteration to the Constitution in relation to provisions on filing and determining the time within which to file election petitions and appeals, sponsored by Representative Olajide Olatubosun, passed second reading.
Nigerians who approach election tribunals or the trial courts to seek redress where they feel they've been cheated or elections are rigged don't become helpless due to the affliction of time.
21 bills passed first reading, among them the Finance Bill 2020, a bill to establish National Social Investment Program sponsored by the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, and 10 others, and the bill on Presidential Transition Fund from Representative Pam Supo. Other features at plenary Wednesday is the adoption of a motion to investigate encroachment in Okumu National Park from Representative Dennis Idahusa, a call to repair access roads to the Apapa, Tinkan and Kirikiri ports in Lagos from Representative Lekia Bejide and the appeal by Representative Bailey Eke urging federal government to repair the Aba-Owerri road.
The dilapidated state of the road, which criminals are now also taking advantage of to rob and abduct citizens traveling on the route.
The House has passed the Federal Capital Territory statutory budget for 2021. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, says the National Assembly acted outside constitutional bounds on the invitation extended to President Buhari to address the National Assembly over the security situation in the country. Malami, in a statement, explains that the National Assembly has no constitutional power to envisage or contemplate a situation where the President would be summoned by the National Assembly on operational use of the armed forces. He said the right of the President to engage the National Assembly and appear before it is inherently discretionary in the President and not at the behest of the National Assembly. The Attorney General further explains that the confidentiality of strategies employed by the President as the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is not open for public exposure in view of security implications and possibility of undermining the war against terror. He says by summoning the President on national security operational matters, the House of Representatives operated outside constitutional bounds. The Minister of Justice maintains that national security is not about publicity and the nation's security architecture cannot be exposed for the sake of getting publicity. Now, less than 3 weeks to Christmas, airfares of trips less than 1 hour across several routes in Nigeria have moved up 100% when ordinarily one would assume that due to the effect of COVID-19, airlines should be competing to cover the losses of the pandemic. The reverse is, however, the case, and our correspondent, Emmanuel Ayumiro, was at the domestic wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, to feel the pulse of passengers and airlines.
Going around different terminals within the airport, it is amazing to see a surge in passenger traffic despite a hike in airfares. It is unbelievable that even though so many passengers have complained about the spike in fares, they are still eager to travel by air. In the last 2 weeks of the recent price regime, the airlines have processed more passengers than they used to since the airport reopened in July this year.
As of yesterday, I was unable to get it, but today I'm going at the rate of 109,000 for business class, simply because there is no space for economy.
The situation at hand is what could be described as different stroke for different folks, as Michelle, traveling to Calabar, booked earlier and got her ticket at a cheaper rate.
I got that for 24,000 naira, so I really don't know how much it is now. I don't always get the ticket across the counter.
Surprisingly, I came across a former NTA aviation correspondent who aligned his thoughts with that of an airline operator. Both are hopeful that the Consumer Protection Department of Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority will perform its role more.
Today, I bought Dana this morning going back to work at 65,300. Nothing is given to you.
Why are you selling your ticket for 100,000 naira to go to Lagos? There should be a monitoring department in the NCAA. By the punch of a button, I will know how much is the increase in the jet A1 that they are complaining about, how much is dollar today. So at the end of the day, what is the percentage increase in aviation fuel, and what is the percentage increase in ticket sales?
But people who put their money in aviation want to survive, and I think this is the only way for them to survive. They will need to match revenue with costs.
As airfare is gradually becoming the survivor of the fittest, so also the airlines are struggling not to go under after COVID-19. From the story told in this report, the challenges on how to improve the sector for the benefit of all is another hurdle to be scaled. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
Now, there have been reactions and counter-reactions over the international media handling of events in Nigeria, particularly the alleged unverified story by the cable news network CNN on the NSAS protest. Ayo Adewi in this report examines the trajectory of CNN reports on Nigeria that have impacted negatively or otherwise.
Media experts agree without any iota of equivocation that journalism's first obligation is to the truth. To some, objectivity may be subjective. Journalists, majority agree, should present the facts, whether or not they like or agree with those facts.
A journalist needs to be truthful, but for you to be truthful, you need to be well equipped for you to look at all the contending issues so that you can report factually and truthfully for people to see and to hear.
Then, are there motives behind the reportage of events in Nigeria by the Western media, particularly CNN?
I would say CNN hasn't been fair to Nigeria. Absolutely not fair to Nigeria. In the practice of journalism, I believe CNN failed in this instance of this coverage of events happening in Nigeria in recent times.
Flashback to February 2007, Jeff Kwanange, then African correspondent of the CNN, ran a report on the movement for the emancipation of the Niger Delta, showing gunmen holding 24 Filipinos hostage in the swamps of the Niger Delta. It was a story that government believed did not meet journalistic obligations. This prompted a response from the then Minister of Information, Frank Nweke Jr., stating Nigerian government's position that the story was stage-managed.
Of recent, not just Nigeria, most Western media, they are not fair to Africa. And CNN, of course, is like the arrowhead.
Jeff Kwanange denied breaching any journalistic ethics. He got the backing of the CNN, which said it did not pay for any part of the report or for interviews.
What we did was follow every journalistic rule.
After the initial denial, Jeff Kwanange was relieved of his job with CNN, while the rage about the story was still on in Nigeria. The 2007 scenario appeared to have played out in 2020, this time around with the NSAS protest, anchored by Neymar, a senior correspondent.
CNN investigated the events at Lekki Tollgate the night of October 20th in Lagos, Nigeria.
At level A crafted report, I think in my view, to give Nigeria a better image. Modern technology, electronics, can be used in many manner or form to deceive any unsuspecting viewer or listener.
Massacre, you are talking about massacre. The definition of massacre was just redefined, so to say.
As it was in 2007, Nigeria protested, saying the report did not live up to the most basic of the core principles of journalism, balance and fairness.
CNN relied heavily on unverified and possibly doctored videos, as well as information sourced from questionable sources.
Again, CNN denied, but later capitulated in a tweet.
There might be some underlying things that the CNN was trying to look for, something bad from Nigeria to report, and this gave them the best opportunity.
Journalistic truth is a process that begins with the professional discipline of assembling and verifying facts, an obligation that compels a journalist to rely on facts and evidence, not on emotions, while working on a story. This is why many believe that Nigeria's image problem has largely been worsened by negative reports about the country in the Western media. Ayo Adewi, NTA News.
Well, thank you so much, Ayo. Up ahead, gender-based violence. Minister brings children on board the fight. Plus, update on the Mobile Hydropower Project. Please stay.
Can you please take a
picture with us. Ten, please, can you sing for us? Of course.
When you need me, you can FaceTime me on the go. Baby, I got you. No matter where you go, oh baby, you can reach me overseas, my dear. Whether na Ghana, Lagos, Nigeria, you can call me on my telephone line. You know I always online. Only by me, I go anywhere and anytime. You can call me anytime.
Glow, Brekete.
Activate a new Glow SIM and get 600 Naira free credit, plus 700% bonus on every recharge, and up to 100% bonus on data plans. Dial *777# Glow.
Everybody listen up. Let me tell you something. Better service done like don't just sit down there look. Star 990 hash. Now he be the code. To send money, it done days. Anywhere you get, no long story. This is your bank. Now you can do more. NPSB. Now he be the way. Star 990.
Introducing 9PSB. Open an account right away with your phone number and instantly start to send and receive money by dialing *990#. You can even pay your bills and also enjoy more opportunities to get your cash back through any of our nationwide agents near you.
Dear Nigerians, from the 7th to 11th of December 2020, the federal government will be implementing measles second dose of 15 months as part of the routine immunization schedule across the 19 northern states and the FCT. The measles second dose has already been introduced by the government in the 17 southern states since November 2019. Apart from the usual first dose of measles at 9 months old, all eligible children 15 months old would be required to take the second dose of measles vaccine. Measles has infected and killed many. As parents, we must forsake all doubts and visit the nearest health facility or vaccination post to ensure our children are vaccinated. I want to assure you that vaccines given to our children are safe, potent, and effective. Signed, Dr. Faisal Shuaib, Executive Director, Chief Executive Officer, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
Abuja Geographical Information Systems, AGIS, requests all plot allottees, property owners, as well as beneficiaries of federal government houses in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, to come forward and settle their outstanding ground rents and sundry bills on or before the end of December 31st, 2020. All concerned allottees and beneficiaries who fail to clear their bills within the stipulated period will attract the necessary penalties for default, which may include the revocation of such titles. For further inquiries, please contact the Information and Customer Service Division, Abuja Geographic Information Systems, or call 0809-015-4777 or 0805-071-5299. Email info@aegis.fcta.gov.ng. Aegis Management Announcer.
Fellow progressives, I salute you. Our membership registration don't start. We dey call on all our members wey dey all over Nigeria to confirm say they be member of our party during this exercise. We go start from December 12, 2020, reach January 9, 2021. All our members wey never register and those wey dey hungry to join our party fit use this opportunity take join. The registration go take place for all the wards wey dey our states for the same time. No waste time. Join our party so that you go fit contribute to progress and better governance for we country. My country people, no forget say if you join our party today, e go give you power to contest for election and play role for the government of our country. E never finish o. If you register, you go even get power to choose who go be our party candidate for all our political positions for government. Go register now. Give yourself power. Do am now o.
Imagine the joy that fills your heart when you have just given birth. Whatever your size, we got you.
mother.
With our Buy Right chat, you can get the best mattress that goes with your body weight. Don't just buy a mattress, buy a Vitafoam mattress.
The name of the baby is Stella.
Vitafoam, the fine art of living.
There are no small beginnings, only stepping stones to bigger things. That's our philosophy at Premium Pension. And so no matter the size of your money, our team of expert fund managers invested wisely and actively to make sure your money is always working as hard as you do. After all, the things we're building today can help shape your future in the long run. And with the right partner by your side, the one thing you're sure to do is soar. Premium Pension. Active today, premium tomorrow.
Newcastle United had their game called off last week. Will they be able to bounce back with a win when they welcome West Bromwich Albion to St James's Park? Find out this Saturday when Newcastle United hosts West Bromwich Albion on the Premier League Live, showing on the NTA network from 3:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Axis Bank, Papa Ijebu, Lipton Tea, and Close Up in association with Gold.com.
Welcome back. Do you still remember the story aired on NTA earlier this year on a group of women in a hard-to-reach community in Jigawa who contributed their hard-earned federal government conditional cash stipends to purchase a 1 million naira vehicle? The vehicle was to ease transportation of the pregnant ones among them for delivery in hospitals that are not nearby. How are the people of this village faring now? Mansour Aliyu Hassan revisited the village, and here are his findings.
It is a journey of over 100 kilometers from Dutse, the capital city of Jigawa State, to Bardo village of Aujarawad in Tora local government area. Bardo is also the birthplace of those women. Earlier reported there of procuring a vehicle, purposely for conveying pregnant ones among them to a nearby health facility for the hardship they face in that circumstance. Apart from the absence of such facility, Bardo community, like many other neighboring villages, is also left behind with no basic amenities, as the village has only one school and is not connected to the national grid. Being among the populated villages in Jigawa State, majority of the Bardo residents largely took farming as their means of survival. The road network into the community is also in a sorry state. These and many other reasons is what prompted some of the women from this area to contribute 1,000 naira each out of their monthly stipends of the federal government's conditional cash transfer and procured a Volkswagen Golf model at the cost of 1 million naira to serve as an ambulance to the community. Some months after this self-help effort, how is it helping out? 23-year-old Hajara Yusuf is among the many beneficiaries of this patriotic effort, as her 2.5-month-old baby Mariam was successfully given birth courtesy of this benevolence.
I am short of words in expressing my happiness, as this vehicle helped me a lot towards giving birth to this baby.
The vehicle, according to this group of women, is serving not only the Bardo community, as 19 other neighboring villages also benefit.
Not only Bardo community, but others from nearby are equally benefiting. Purchasing this vehicle is a blessing to all of us here, even we that did not contribute.
The decaying structure of the health facility and lack of any equipment is the only noticeable feature cited here, meaning the Bardo community has to continue to use the services of their vehicle to reach nearby hospitals. The good news, however, is a philanthropist has donated another vehicle as an encouragement. While the NTA crew was on its way out of Bardo, our camera lens captures the vehicle conveying a sick person to the Jahun General Hospital. Many are of the view that this noble gesture of Bardo women will surely go a long way towards complementing federal government efforts in reducing the high rate of maternal mortality, particularly among the rural women. On its part, Jigawa State government has introduced a policy in collaboration with transport unions to support these hard-to-reach communities. But the public commentators believe that the challenge requires all hands must be on deck between government and public-spirited individuals for its enormity. From Bordo village in Aujara local government area of Jigawa State, Mansur Aliyu Hassan, NTA News.
Sure, a beautiful gesture from them. The shining light on the Mobile Hydropower Project is becoming brighter following pragmatic steps taken so far towards its execution. Host communities say they are now seeing clearly the determination of the federal government to make their electricity power supply dreams come true. This renewed hope came with the presence of land and estate surveyors in Jigawa State to carry out demarcation and enumeration ahead of payment of compensation to the affected communities. Joseph Rustin reports.
The land and estate surveyors will be mapping out areas of coverage, establishing property of governments, communities, private organizations and individuals within the 5 local government areas of Jigawa State that will be affected by the construction of the Mobile Hydroelectricity Power Project. The team has already engaged stakeholders to explain the exercise in Sardauna and Kurmi local government areas.
After the demarcation of the area at the work area, we are going to go to start identifying the beneficiaries, who are the hosts or the locals who reside in these places that are going to be affected. They call it project affected persons.
We are loyal to our practice, for our ethics, and then to the nation. So be rest assured that nobody will be shortchanged in this whole process.
Both the state government and community stakeholders pledge to give the needed support and protection for the success of the project.
I would not accept politics.
We are happy, and as a host community, we are going to be the best host community to this dam project. That is the assurance.
And today they're here with a team of surveyors. That means the federal government and the state government, they are serious about this project.
And we have adequately sensitized the people about compensation. The template used throughout globally is what we are going to use to do the compensation.
Sardauna, Gashaka, Kurmi, Bali, and Adokola local government areas are the affected communities. In Jalingo, Joseph Sound Oten, NTA News.
With cases of illicit drug consumption and mental health disorders reportedly on the rise, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, is increasing advocacy on measures to stem the tide. Blessing Omeche Ebute reports that this time around, the agency took the campaign on drug abuse, addiction and rehabilitation to Benue State. It may interest you where the NDLEA is focusing attention. Blessing, we are all ears.
Yes, there have been growing concerns about issues of insecurity that has engulfed some communities in the country. This development experts attribute to the high prevalence of drug abuse, particularly among youths that have left many with various forms of mental health disorders.
Saying that an idle man is a devil workshop, and every drug addict is a potential instrument in the hand of the devil.
The advocacy and sensitization campaign in Ado Okpoku Ogbadigbo Federal Constituency, therefore, is to stem the tide of the growing menace of drug abuse.
This program is very, very timely because if you look around, you see that so many youths are involved in drug abuse.
The fight against drug and substance abuse is a collective one that must be approached through intervention strategies, advocacy, and awareness creation.
Please let us not stigmatize them so that they won't be reluctant to come out to seek for help. And the communities, please bring out those people that are spoiling our youths. The dealers, you're not being fair to our youths.
If we fail to
conscientize, sensitize our people against the danger of narcotic drug addiction, we labor in vain in whatever investment we do in our youth.
And then the benefit we are going to have if we let them know about the dangers of this abuse of drugs.
Participants at the campaign were decorated as anti-drug abuse ambassadors. They are expected to take the message back to their respective communities and beyond. The 3-day advocacy and sensitization program came to a wrap, with stakeholders reechoing the need for government and relevant authorities to intensify the fight against drug and substance abuse in order to curb the menace. From Egumale in Ado local government area of Benue State, I am Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
What impact will the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence make if the message only resonates around adults? So, in order not to leave out the children, who of course are the future of Nigeria, the Ministry of Women Affairs, in collaboration with other partners, took the message down to school children to catch them young on the subject matter. And Momsude Mendati has the details.
Been 16 long days of awareness and activism against gender-based violence the world over.
We support definition of violence against women in Nigeria and all over the world.
You'll observe the campaign is only focused on adults in most cases. And one may ask, what about the children?
Should be able to help children to have the right to speak out whenever they have issues on gender-based violence.
This is what the Ministry of Women Affairs is out to remedy, bringing over 200 school children from schools across Abuja to pass the message on.
We've been talking for too long, and we need the men, we need the voices of the men to help us get to the solution. Thank you for making available these girls and boys to be here, to listen to us, and to learn on the need for them to protect themselves and to speak out when they see danger around them.
From UNICEF, Nigerian Police Force, and other key players come tips on self-defense.
Safety is important. First, what you need to think is, are you in a safe place? If you are not feeling safe, please consider reaching out to someone you trust.
There is a more rampant and silent challenge we collectively need to address, which is that of violence in schools and on the way to school.
Though all looking young and innocent, these children too have suggestions on what can be done to curtail gender-based violence.
When a teacher is a friend to a student, that child will be able to tell you what he's passing through.
Some people need to be talked back at, but once the person is so violent that you can't control it, or you can't say it in a way that it will break out, it's not break out into a fight, you should just report to the school authority.
With the message passed, action is awaited. In Abuja, Momso Damien Dati, NTA News.
For every executive leaving office alive, hale and hearty, is an utmost desire. This feeling was brought to life as the Managing Director of the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, Umar Ibrahim, formally disengages from service, having successfully completed 2 terms spanning 10 years. Leah Katun Babatunde reports that also exiting the service of the corporation is the Executive Director Operations.
The end of an era. This is the last time Umar Ibrahim will walk into these premises as the Chief Executive Officer of the NDRC. During his leadership, the corporation collaborated with the Central Bank of Nigeria to develop the critical resolution framework that saved the banking system from systemic crisis twice, in 2011 and 2018, with the introduction of bridge bank failure resolution mechanism that addressed the distress in 4 failed banks: Afribank, Bank PHB, Spring Bank, and Sky Bank. The bridge bank mechanism was adopted as a cost-effective option of guaranteeing billions of depositors' funds, saving thousands of jobs, as well as ensuring continuity of banking services. He implores the staff to keep the fire burning.
And I assure you that by God's grace, I'm happy and fulfilled. Amen. This cannot be without the immense support and contribution of all the staff of the Federation. It has always been a teamwork since we started in 1989.
The corporation in the last 10 years successfully carried out the upward review of maximum insured limits for depositors of deposit money banks, extended deposit insurance cover to depositors of microfinance banks and primary mortgage banks, as well as introduced deposit insurance to non-interest banks, payment service banks, and mobile money banks.
My prayer is that as we live in good health, everybody here also work in good health and live here in good health.
Ibrahim was first appointed as MD in 2010, along with Erediawa, a period the NDIC experienced tremendous transformation towards the robust implementation of its mandate and public policy objectives. He led the NDIC to foster stronger collaborations with the judiciary, external solicitors, the media, law enforcement agencies, and civil society to expedite public awareness on deposits insurance. Leah Baba today, NTA News.
And President Muhammadu Buhari has extended best wishes to General Theophilus Yakubu Danjuma on the occasion of his 83rd birthday. On this important day, the President recounts General Danjuma's record of service and dedication to the Nigerian Armed Forces, as well as many other fields of endeavor in the country, thanking him for his lifetime devotion to humanitarian causes and kindness to the less privileged in the society. President Buhari praised Almighty God to sustain the elder statesman with health and happiness in the years ahead. Is there anything fishy about fish consumption and production in Nigeria? And what is the state of onions in our national life? Find out after these messages.
In a country filled with different and unique kinds of people, there's no such thing as one size fits all for everything, especially sleep. That's why there's a mocha specially made for you. The Pepper Dem Gang, the Mamas, the Daddies, the Papas, the Zaddies, the Fit Fam, and the I cannot come and go and kill myself. Whoever you are, there's a mocha for you. Visit www.muka.com.
You clean your teeth every morning, but that fresh breath feeling just doesn't last. The answer? Easy. You keep your teeth strong and healthy and give your mouth long-lasting fresh breath with new Oral-B 2-in-1 toothpaste. It helps strengthen your teeth and gives you long-lasting fresh breath.
So fresh, still fresh, and still fresh.
Stay strong, stay fresh. New Oral-B toothpaste for strong teeth and long-lasting fresh breath.
Always remember, this man I have really like kickbox. You deserve a break. Even in the hustle and bustle of the day, you can indulge in a cup of 3-in-1 Cadbury Hot Chocolate. Cadbury Hot Chocolate. Indulge. You deserve a break.
There is one that has class. And the I pass my neighbor. Gadgets for every moment. Redmi Note 9 Pro. Upgrade your life. Powered by Xiaomi.
Customer, here are the tomatoes. What else shall I give you?
Hot pepper and Auntie, this your cough is getting out of hand now.
Take it easy with her now. But customer, this your cough. You should go to the hospital.
You know I can't go there with this cough at this time. They'll just say I have COVID-19.
Customer, every cough is different. It could be tuberculosis.
It's true, Auntie. Check am o, make you dey sure.
Because who no go?
No go, no.
Check that cough for tuberculosis.
Check am o, make you dey sure.
If your cough is more than 2 weeks, it could be tuberculosis. TB tests and TB treatment are free. Just call the National TB Hotline on 0800 22 55 282 for information on where to get the test. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Health with support from the American people.
Dermatologically tested Bevan baby diapers makes babies happy with elastic side bands, breathable external layers, barrier to help prevent leakage, and makes families happy with its affordable price.
In my house, we may look alike, but we are very different individuals. My adorable twins, they look so alike, but they don't like wearing the same things. And my little man, I had to find out the hard way because I've been trying to teach him my way. He loves to learn his own way because doing things his way is more fulfilling. Everybody believes their way is best. That's why Golden Penny Pasta is our favorite meal because due to its non-stickiness, it allows me to satisfy everybody just the way they want it.
Golden Penny Pasta, made with durum wheat, is tasty, nutritious, a source of protein and fiber, and non-sticky, so you can cook, serve, and eat your pasta just the way you like it. Go on and enjoy your Golden Penny Pasta the way you want it. With Golden Penny Pasta, your way is best.
Wednesday, 5:28 p.m. Getting ready to lay down some tunes, but something ain't right. There's some discomfort in my throat. No worries though. TomTom Fresh Lime is here to save the day. Discomfort gone, time to bring the heat. Thanks TomTom Fresh Lime for giving me soothing relief. TomTom Fresh Lime, cool with a zing.
No leakage. Yes, moped.
No leakage. No leakage. No leakage. We need a big change in our lives.
Moped Ultra Soft is super absorbent and offers up to 100% leak protection. Your skin will love it.
Thanks for staying. A process manual aimed to improve services, promote transparency and accountability in the port system was launched this Wednesday by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. The Vice President at the event commends the various players in the port sector for their committed efforts in ensuring that there is improvement in the system and processes of port services. State House correspondent GD2020 reports.
I'm especially privileged to launch the process manual on port services.
The Nigerian Port Process Manual is aimed at creating an enabling environment for domestic and foreign port users. It is also aimed at attracting more foreign direct investment for the nation that could enhance economic development in the business environment, designed to facilitate the ease of doing business. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the process manual on port operation is expected to be one of the key indicators for the effective implementation of the Executive Order 1.
The cost and effects of corruption impose on us a moral obligation to fight it with energy and will, and by strengthening all institutional systems and processes as well as promoting a culture of transparency and accountability. I sincerely hope that this is just one of the many solutions that will be applied towards building an enabling environment in the port sector.
And the process manual is expected to reduce corruption in the port processes and reduce the opportunity for illegal demands in the ports.
Also be in line with the best practices in the world. Our port must be sanitized because of we want efficiency. We want delivery of cargo. We are in competition with other ports, and so our ports must excel.
My agency, that's NIMASA, as a regulator, this is what we have been clamoring on, because the International Maritime Organization, what they want to see the international best practices.
Bottlenecks are removed. There's ease of doing business, and that is what the customer wants. And we are also committed to rendering our services not only efficiently, but in a customer-friendly environment.
Adjunct to this is also a complaint and redress mechanism housed within the Nigerian Shippers Council, so that port users can complain if they don't get the kind of services they require.
It is expected that the manual will be reviewed as issues and development emerged. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Now, why is Nigeria depending on other countries to meet her fish needs? Or is there anything fishy in the country's fish industry? Correspondent Musababa Ali, while seeking answers to these questions, also investigates why Nigerians are among the world's lowest consumers of fish and fish products. We apologize for the loss of audio in that report. We'll bring you the report in the course of the bulletin. To cushion the impact of coronavirus pandemic on food security, the federal government and the African Union Development Agency are working out modalities to empower smallholder farmers in the country with grants and farming inputs. At a two-day technical roundtable, governors and representatives from 22 states committed to domesticate in the agricultural initiative. Mitari Ibeng tells us more.
$1 billion have been earmarked by the African Union Development Agency to help smallholder farmers on the continent recover from the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, as well as boost farming activities and household income within the next 10 years. Nigeria has been considered to pilot the agricultural initiative as many states pledged to provide land and counterpart funding.
90% of our farmers are smallholder farmers. So this program is targeted to reach them, to scale up the production, the yield per hectare.
Agriculture is what we are now using to take a lot of people off the street. And so in terms of issues like this, we are always keen into it. And I must also say that we are also encouraged by the position of Mr. President, because issues like this, Mr. President does not joke with it, and we follow up with him.
We are using bottom-top approach to mitigate the COVID-19 effect and ensure the employment of our youth and women, like Mr. President, President Muhammadu Buhari, has declared in his 9-point agenda.
This NPED program is very important to the development of agriculture in Nigeria and Africa.
More states have been urged to key into the project to expand agricultural productivity and guarantee food security amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
And we'll head to Lagos now. Until recently, Nigerians did not appreciate the availability and affordability of onions due to several reasons. The item became scarce, generating complaints from consumers, especially women. And I believe you understand why. Annie Daniels, who visited some markets in Lagos metropolis, reports the story has changed.
And Igbo markets on Lagos mainland are never short of foodstuff and vegetables. The markets are also characterized by heavy trading, not just because of the availability of foodstuff, but there are cheaper, compared with other markets in the metropolis. However, there were complaints from buyers about a particular item described as diamond. That is the onion.
The street I'm living, the whole street, nobody was selling onions, no even single person.
For some people, it's a must for them to use onions and cook.
It's 300 naira onions that I used to buy, is small and it's already spoiled.
This one we are buying 100 naira before, now 300.
The story has changed as onion in its different colors is now available and affordable.
By this time, we are buying one bag 65.70.
What before, like last month?
Like last month, 90.85.
The first plantation was destroyed by water in the north, but now they have planted new ones, and that new ones start coming out. So that's why the price will come down.
Big one, like this, we sell on 8 pieces, 500. Small like this one, we sell on 300 8 pieces.
The smiles on the faces of these respondents is all because they are sure of having enough onion, tomatoes and pepper to celebrate Christmas. This roadside seller is also full of joy over the availability and affordability of onions in the market, especially as their customers no longer complain of not having enough onions in their suya. There is optimism that the prices of other food items will also reduce before the year runs out. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
Good news from Annie there, all the way from Lagos. As you can see, I'm smiling. I also love onions. With the recent increase in COVID-19 infection in Kaduna State, the state government says it will adopt strict measures to flatten the curve. The state governor, Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, made this known while taking delivery of mobile ambulances donated by Buba Group of Companies. Mohammed Umar reports.
Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai tests running the new mobile ambulances. It is an intervention coming at the right time as the state is experiencing sudden rise in COVID-19 infection and bracing up to fight the virus. The governor informed the representatives of the donor, Buba Group of Companies, that the state government will not hesitate to lock down again if the citizens refuse to obey the prevention protocols.
The rates of infection are surging ahead, and we have now decided that every employee of the Kaduna State government must be tested, and no person will be allowed to enter any government office without mask. If people refuse to wear masks and observe social distancing, we will consider locking down the state once again. Nobody wants that. We know the impact of that on lives and livelihoods, but we must save lives first.
And because of his support for containing COVID-19, sir, the chairman of Buba Group have donated more than 7 billion naira worth of support, both for the federal government, state governments, and even communities.
These 3 modern mobile ambulances also contain some personal protective equipment. As the Director of Government Relations of the company, Aliu Idi Hong, opens the door for the governor's inspection. There are about 50,000 face masks. The company promised to sustain its support to the state government to check further spread of the virus. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar, NTA News.
The federal government has been working on the expansion of the nation's energy resources for economic growth. Have successes been recorded along this line? What positive activities have been generated within the energy value chain? Abolade Salami will tell us.
Gas is a close substitute for other fuels in electricity generation, a feedstock for fertilizer and petrochemical industries, and more environmentally friendly than crude. However, natural gas in Nigeria over the years has not been fully harnessed for economic gains, as more than 324 billion cubic feet of gas, equivalent to $1 billion in revenue, was fled in 2017. in an attempt to diversify so as to overcome the crude oil price volatility that mostly affects economic performance and expand the energy value chain for economic growth. The Central Bank of Nigeria in September offered 250 billion naira intervention facility as loan to companies willing to invest in gas. The initiative targeted at stimulating investment in the development of infrastructure to boost domestic gas resources for economic growth. Energy players, note, will aggressively drive more revenue.
By January this year, it became evident to Mr. President, who is a substantial Minister of Petroleum Resources, that we simply can't continue running the hydrocarbon industry the way we've been running for the last 70 years. And that the reality, fundamental politics has to play out. And he therefore declared 2020 as the year of gas.
As the 9th largest gas reserves country in the world, with over 188 trillion cubic feet of gas, which are exported as LNG, Nigeria now stands a better chance of reaping more of economic benefits and creation of jobs with the federal government initiative for petrol vehicles to run on LPG.
With the right mindset which is available now and the right team, we can make it fly in the use of gas as an alternative, either LPG, CNG or LNG. These are gas that we have locally and they don't need to be imported.
It is expected that the various gas expansion policies of the government will drive the needed economic and social benefits. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Impact of 200 computer unit ICT center recently inaugurated by the federal government in Ogun State. This, when NewsExtra returns. Don't go away.
Time for celebration. 30 years bustling with goodness. The challenge can never stop us. You can't underrate us. You can't underrate. Mountain Guinness, but still with so much greatness. Mountain Guinness, enjoy a world of
congratulate you for progress on your journey. Now, Nigeria's #1 choice of mothers have Molfix Air Dry. Thanks to its ultra absorbency and breathability, Molfix has the dryness all the mothers dream of. So the babies will not experience any rash. Babies are always comfortable. Mothers are too, because they don't need to worry about ventilation. Thanks to Molfix Air Dry. Now, babies and mothers enjoy the ultimate peace. Come and join the mothers who experience Molfix Air Dry.
Shola, come and help me. You need to learn.
But I'm more interested in drawing.
How are you going to be part of the business if you don't learn?
You just don't understand.
Morning. Anyone for some Lipton?
The rich taste of Lipton awakens body and mind.
Let me have a look at your drawings. Son, these designs are amazing.
Lipton Yellow Label Tea. Awaken to what really matters.
Welcome to your online ballroom dance lesson.
Nobody's perfect, but some are unstoppable.
Yeah, I'm unstoppable.
Power Horse, unstoppable you.
Mommy is back. Guess what's inside?
Chocolate. Biscuit.
Our new toothpaste, Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection.
Why are we changing our toothpaste?
Because with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, I can be sure your teeth are cavity-free.
Cavity? What cavity?
Let me show you.
Most toothaches are caused by tooth holes called cavities.
Ah!
When you brush daily with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, its expert formula locks natural calcium in our teeth and helps protect them from cavity.
It also has natural mint for minty fresh breath every day.
Mom, can I eat chocolates now?
As long as you brush with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection.
Colgate is the world's most chosen toothpaste.
Colgate locks calcium in.
Keeps cavities out!
Recommended by the Nigerian Dental Association.
Since 1971, Nigeria's foremost human capital development institution, the Industrial Training Fund, ITF, has been at the forefront of equipping Nigerians with skills for national growth. Today's ITF has repositioned and refocused its programs, forging new partnerships locally and internationally to effectively deliver on its mandate. With 37 area offices and 5 industrial skills training centers across the country, ITF is pushing to reduce unemployment by providing relevant technical and vocational skills for employability and entrepreneurship in diverse trades and crafts. Whether you're a public or private organization seeking to improve the skills of your personnel or an individual looking to acquire skills that will increase your chances of employment or even to help start your own business, today's ITF has a program for you. Speak to us today. Contact our area offices nationwide or visit our website www.itf.gov.ng. ITF, developing the nation's human resource.
Newcastle United had their game called off last week. Will they be able to bounce back with a win when they welcome West Bromwich Albion to St James's Park? Find out this Saturday when Newcastle United hosts West Bromwich Albion on the Premier League Live, showing on the NTA network from 3:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Axis Bank, Papa Ijebu, Lipton Tea, and Close Up in association with Gold.com.
Good to have you back. For several years, writing computer-based tests in entrance examinations came with a lot of anxiety for the people of Yewa land in Ogun State, as lack of certified ICT centers meant traveling far from home. To write such exams, this is one of the challenges that the 200 Computer Unit ICT Center, recently inaugurated by the federal government in Ayetoro, Ogun State, has addressed. Adeni Taiwo takes up the story from here. Taiwo.
Until the recent COVID-19 imposed lockdown in the country, the idea of virtual learning among public secondary schools in Nigeria was a distant reality for many students. Yet, a move away from traditional way of learning and writing examination is an abiding necessity, especially in the current information age. Since it was established in 1963, Comprehensive High School Ayetoro has worked hard to build a reputation for itself as a great citadel of secondary education. What the school and others in Ogun West Division of the state have, however, had to contend with is lack of ICT infrastructure. With the inauguration of this 200 computer unit ICT center in the school by the federal government, these students are happy that they can write their computer-based entrance examination without having to travel far.
We're able to do our practicals very well now.
I want to know how the way they can type on it, the way they can do anything about the system.
This center helps us in CorelDRAW, Paint.
The center, equipped with a central server and a generating set, is expected to serve as JAM CBT center for students in the area.
This project takes us one step closer to our collective goal of increasing internet penetration across the country, and of course aligns with the federal government's broadband plan that seeks to ensure that internet penetration reaches 70%.
This aligns with our program of Adopt a School or Support a School.
Representative of the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board at the event said an accreditation team from JAM will soon visit the center for certification.
From what I have seen on the ground, they will not have any problems in accreditation.
Applauding the federal government, indigenes of the region say the intervention project will provide youths with necessary edge in an ICT-driven world. From Ayetoro, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
And for the African continent to effectively participate and compete on the global stage, key African industries must be revitalized and upgraded to be at par with global standards. This submission was made at a public lecture organized by the Center for Black and African Arts and Civilization in Lagos. Our Yusuf Jibo reports that the theme of the lecture is global African solidarity and cooperation in the aftermath of a pandemic COVID-19 perspective.
COVID-19 pandemic took the world by surprise, as many nations were ill-prepared to contain the virus or to deal with its socio-economic fallout. Many African countries have suffered significant damage, especially to their economies. Addressing these issues informed this public gathering. Guest lecturer Comrade Olaoye Sanda highlighted the successes and failures of the African Union while renewing the call for a more effective collaboration in addressing common challenges among African nations.
That wonderful and gladdening contribution of a Nigerian, Dr. Onyagu, I had to do a lot with our Pfizer, manufactured that. They won't attribute most of it to Africans.
We must develop human capacity in these areas of science. It's very, very important. Because a pandemic has happened now, it can happen again.
Other discussants urged the youth to be creative, think out of the box, prefer solutions to hidden and obvious problems, as well as to embrace entrepreneurship.
I know in Africa, most of the solution, people expect it to come from the government. But we'll look at all the industrial nations and we'll see that it was actually tackled by communities, by individuals.
The Director General, Center for Black and African Arts and Civilization, CBAC, Oluwabumi Amao, says the body is motivated more than ever to preserve and promote Africa's diverse cultural heritage.
They should start looking inward. We have a lot of things to give our children for them to grow properly. We have a lot of things to teach them.
CBAC was established in 1979, following the successful hosting of Festa 77. In Lagos, Awal Yusuf Jibo, NTA News.
NewsExtra returns after these messages. Please stay.
Mother taught me to never forget where I come from. Never forget who you are. Our people, men and women, bursting with creativity and zeal. Our language and the proverbs with which our people spice their words. Never forget.
Great to have you back on NewsExtra. Let's now take sports update.